So a few weeks ago, I took some pictures of water drops, of berries falling into glasses, all kinds of weird stuff. Truth is, Sarah was gone for the night and I was really bored, so spent a couple hours up in the attic taking pictures. Anyways, a lot of people asked me how I did that, how I set it up, what stuff they would need to do it. So instead of blogging about it and making a 5,000 paragraph response, I thought I'd just make a video. I've never made a video before, so we'll see how it goes. When I did it, I used off-camera flashes, umbrellas. I had all kinds of stuff just for fun. When you do it, you don't have to do it that way. You can use it just with your camera and your camera flash. But you're going to need to use your manual exposure settings, the little M on your dial, and that might be a little intimidating for some of you, but I'm going to show you how to do it real easily, not too complicated at all, and it'll produce good results. So why don't we go ahead? We're just going to figure out what we need. I used this behemoth, the 70-200 Nikon lens. I realize most of you probably don't have that, and that's okay. So we're just going to use a kit lens. You might have an 18-55 or 55-200, 18-105. I think that's what I have up here. We're just going to start off trying to use this. So the longer the lens, the better, as long as you have room inside your house. So attach your lens, obviously. And what we're going to do is we're going to have to set our camera to manual exposure settings. So you just put it on the little M. I started at f8, shutter speed of 250 and my ISO down at 200. If you don't know how to do that, I'll write a little thing about how to set your camera that way. I used a tripod, always a good idea. And I also used a little remote. This thing was like $1. It says Hongdak on it, whatever that means. Got it from China, I think. So I also used a ton of off-camera flashes, and I'll show you how to do that, but I realize a lot of people don't have those either. So we'll just use the pop-up flash on the camera for most of it. Obviously you're going to need a glass of water or food coloring. I used milk once. That was kind of weird because it spilled everywhere and smelled really bad. Get something to drop in it. I used coins because they were in my pocket. Let's see, you want a towel or something to lay down so you don't get everything soaking wet, and a black backdrop if you can. So I'll list that again so you can figure all that stuff out. But we're going to start by mounting my camera to the tripod. And so I'm all set up. I got my camera on a tripod. I have it in portrait, like turned portrait, just because the glass is tall, not really a complicated reason. I'm zoomed out all the way to 105, got my flash popped out, glass of water, black backdrop. I just used a reflector disc pinned on the wall. You can use a sheet or whatever else. I recommend putting something down or else your wife will get mad at you when everything's wet and starts to mildew. I got my Hongdak remote, and once I turn my camera on, set it to remote and press it and it takes a picture. So drop it, take a picture. Did it without looking. That's how good I am. Got a whole bag of coins. Just learned to play poker the other day. Pretty fun. Make sure you hit it. Man, maybe I'm not so good. So you get the concept. If you don't have a remote, just use another person. It'd be really hard to do this, but you could probably do that too. When I did it, I actually used a shutter release cable just because it always takes. Sometimes these little remotes that cost $1 from China don't work and you miss the shot. So whatever you want to do. Let's see what we got. For those of you that have off-camera flashes, I recommend using this if you can, just because it produces a lot better results because you can light from the back, not the front. So you're just lighting up this and not the background and not everything else that's so distracting. I just have some Nikon flashes. These flashes are awesome, but they're also pretty expensive. So I have these two flashes too, and they were like $30 from China again. This one's just called a speedlight, which is good. And this one's, I don't know, some weird word in Chinese. So the cool thing about these is that you can buy these really cheap and you can put them on what's called a slave mode, which fires when it senses your on-camera flash. So you would just turn it on. You would set it to your slave mode, however you do that, depends on the flash. And then every time you take a picture with this camera, it flashes this flash. So let's see if the $30 flash actually works. Turn my camera on. Set it to remote. For whatever reason, this camera always sits back, takes the remote setting off, but ooh, look. See, just pretty cool. Really cheap, and if your flash doesn't come with a slave setting, which senses your on-camera flash, you can buy a little box. I have no idea where mine is, but it's just a little attachment that you slide on the hot shoe mount of the flash, and it makes it a slave flash. So that's pretty cool. But since I can, and I have these flashes, I'm going to use them to their fullest potential. So I set these on remote. For the SB700, you just slide it to remote. Make sure the little sensor can see your camera. It's facing your camera at least, and then just set your flash up right behind it. And I'm going to use my SB600 too, just because I can. For this one, you just hold zoom and the minus sign and cycle through the menu till you see a little squiggly line. That's just the wireless mode. Turn that to on, press the on off button to set it. And again, I'm just going to set that right here. Turn off my China flash. And it gets a little more complicated. You've got to go to your creative lighting menu on your Nikon flash, and depending on the model, depends how you do it. I set mine to the function button, so when I'm out in the field, I just press the function button and it pops it up. I'm going to turn my on-camera flash, my pop-up flash, to 0, and my group A and D flash to both of my flashes. Let's try 1/32, see what we get. Yeah, and of course it turns off the remote mode. Don't know why. It doesn't. Oh man. As you can see, it produces a lot better result, in my opinion. The lighting's more dramatic and it's just cooler looking. So let's see what we get with this. Pretty fun. I've read a lot of places that you can put like wrapping paper or colorful fabric down here, and it actually, the water will reflect the pretty colors and make it a lot more interesting to look at. So try all kinds of things. You can put food coloring in. I actually have some color gel filters somewhere. I have a big mess where I can flash up cool colors. Let me try and do that. So while I was searching for my color filters, I found all kinds of things. These are your gel filters. They're not gel at all. They're just flimsy pieces of plastic that are colored. I don't know what that does. Probably just makes everything dark orange. Okay. Anyways, but while I was searching for these, I found my little, they're like optical sensors, and you just slide them on the hot shoe of your $30 Chinese flash, and then it makes it a slave flash. So whenever this little eye sees your camera flash, it flashes. So I don't really need to use this because I already have 2 flashes, and I mean, I could use like 4 flashes. I mean, why not, you know? Slave, power level. That's about halfway. Remember, this flash has the slave optical sensor built in. This flash doesn't. I don't even think this one has batteries. I don't know where my batteries are. So we just won't use this one. But I also found some soft boxes, which softens the light a little bit. It's not, makes it so the light isn't so harsh. And it spreads it out a little bit more too. And then I just put some color filters on my soft boxes because I could, no real reason. So, camera turns off. saves battery, but it's annoying. Alright. And beautiful. Let's put this right here. Huh, interesting. Kind of like it. Flashing straight up pretty much. Now I just realized I'm getting my flash really wet, but that's the beauty of having a $30 Chinese flash. Alright, before this one explodes, let's turn it off. A few other things. If anybody wants this, I have 2 of them and I don't ever use any of them. So if you want to let me know, I'll sell it to you for the Chinese price of like $10. Well, now I have about $300 worth of change in my glass, and I mean, I should be set to play poker next weekend. Anyways, hope you guys will learn something. I just want to emphasize that you don't need off-camera flashes and a $2,000 camera or anything to make awesome photographs. You just need to be a little creative, use what you have. So, I mean, I showed you how to just use your camera's pop-up flash. So you could have a D3000 or 3100 or whatever for $400 and get some pretty good results. If you have these resources, you might as well use them. Experiment. Put some wrapping paper down so the water reflects the wrapping paper. Use different colors, use some gel filters, use different liquids, different things to drop in. All kinds of things. Just remember, didn't say this, I should have said this to start with. When I turn my flash off and take a picture, it should be black. You don't want any ambient light, like any of your lights in your room, to be affecting your picture. You just want the flash to be the light source. And what that does is that freezes the water drops. If the ambient light was exposing your image sensor, then it wouldn't be like water drops. It'd just be kind of blurry water. And so if you want to test and see if your camera settings are right, just take a picture without your flash up and it should be black. You pop your flash up and everything in the world is right again. So that's it. If you have any questions, let me know. I might do more videos. It's kind of complicated. Who knows? We'll see. Thanks for watching.